Hi, guys. This is Creatures of the Night podcast, and I'm Chris.
And I'm Wendy.
So, we told you last week that we were going to be doing an extra special episode, nothing but Ghost Brothers talk.
Yup.
So, if you are one of the awesome people that watch some of our clips on YouTube, then you would see that we already prepared by having the Ghost Brothers with us.
Yep, they're right here. Welcome, guys. Say
Hi,
hi.
guys.
Hi.
Hey, yo, what's up? They're all here in the rooms with us. Well, actually, they're just our backgrounds, but it makes us feel warm and fuzzy to have them here with us. And I did kind of spend a whole day with them because I'm not really feeling that well. So I just kind of sat and watched Ghost Brothers episode.
You did like a whole marathon.
I did a marathon. Yeah. I really wanted to anyways because I already had a favorite episode and it was the Rose Haven in Montego Bay. I talked about that back in episode 94. So I didn't want to talk about it again. That one's my favorite. So I started watching some. I already knew which one I wanted to do, but yeah, today was just marathon day. It's raining outside. My stomach's upset. Why not?
Yeah, that's a perfect day for marathon TV.
Yes, it is. So for my marathon, I watched the Prospect Place episode, Magnolia Plantation, the Wills House. I don't know why, but that one trips me up. It's the Wills House. It was like an old mortuary that they turned into like one of those like moose lodge kind of
Oh,
things.
like a Masonic lodge?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's like a Masonic lodge that is now like a Church of Satan. So that one was a really interesting episode.
Is that in Ohio?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think I read, because I read a little bit about the Ghost Brothers themselves, and I think it's Jawan that says that was his most terrifying investigation.
Oh, it was a pretty spooky investigation. So what's funny is they rolled up to that location and the place is massive. Like, I think that they were like, oh, it was a church or, it's going to be this lodge. It's going to be kind of like, I don't know, a smallish house, but they get to it and it's like the size of a school. It's huge. And it's super creepy. Like they kind of let it go. The new owner, or whenever they filmed that episode, he was using it as the Church of Satan. It didn't look like he was really trying to fix it up. I think he, kind of liked the ambience that, the natural ambience. But yeah, in that episode, it was pretty scary because they didn't know for sure if it was completely sealed off.
Oh.
Yeah, there could have been some real people in there. There were actual animals in there, like cats and stuff. So, I mean, cats are getting in there. There could be people in there, which really made it hard for them to do any EVP sessions. But they brought a girl in with them. That's like one of the Ghost Brothers kind of thing is that if they're interviewing somebody who's been there, they'll be like, all right, why don't you come and do this with us? So they had this girl, I can't remember her name because this isn't what I was going to talk about, but she gets in there and like they start seeing shadow people.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dalen and this girl. They both see the shadow person, but at the exact same time they see it, they both see something slightly different. They both see an image holding up a flashlight, but he sees it as a shadow person. She sees like a man figure. Like she almost sees like an actual person. He just saw a shadow.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's fucking creepy. Like it just gave me chill bumps, thinking about it.
That's terrifying for all the wrong reasons when wanting to paranormal investigate. There was an episode of Destination Fear, the one that Dakota, whatever his last name is, does with his sister and like a friend, that they investigated some place that the owners told him, like, people break into this place all the time because it's huge, it's run down, there's tons of ways to get in, and like barely a fence around it, and it's surrounded by woods. So they're like, people break in all the time. Good luck. And while they were there, they were hearing like talking, like, or you get a sense when you think it's a ghost and when you think it's a real person. And they were like, that's a fucking real person. But they could never catch these people. But then they go outside and they hear like laughing off in the woods and stuff. I'd be like, nope, fuck this.
Oh, for real.
It's not what I signed up for.
No kidding. And that reminds me of a Ghost Adventures episode where they went to like a church in the woods. I think it was in Oregon where they had like heard things in the woods and stuff too. And it turned out like it was just a big ass deer that scared the shit out of them. But, when you do go into those kinds of places where you're off on your own, it's not like an official lockdown, like you're locked inside the building and you have this where you can go outside. You never know what the fuck you're going to run into.
Yeah, especially wildlife for sure. And if you don't have security to lock that place down,
right,
like this could happen, So I know that's not what you wanted to talk about, but
No.
I had just read that was his scariest location, but I didn't watch the episode, so that's cool.
It's really cool. That was actually my number 2 pick because it was a really good episode. They did some cool stuff in there. They were up in what was called the cloud room. And that's because the ceiling was sort of cut like it had clouds in it. So it was like a two-tier, it was like a part of a ceiling here and then an upper ceiling, but it was all like designed like clouds. It was really pretty. And of course, it's totally abandoned, so it's even cooler to see. But they're up there and they lit two candles and they're talking instead of using equipment other than recording equipment. They're talking and having the candles respond. The candle would flicker like mad to give them a yes or a no answer, which was pretty neat, I must say.
That is neat. I like when you use something that isn't a ghost hunting equipment device where you question it. Like somebody made this. They could have pre-programmed it to react certain ways.
Yeah, totally.
So when you're using like, just regular materials and asking a ghost to move it or manipulate it in some way, it's like, okay, now who set that one up? Nobody.
Right. Yeah, like using a compass and using these candles. That's cool. That's a natural element that shouldn't be reacting in the way that it is. So I can see why that was probably his spookiest. I really did like that episode. And like I said, that was my number 2. But I chose to discuss Magnolia Plantation, which is in Derry, Louisiana. It was my favorite out of the 4. So Magnolia Plantation is this, oh my God, humongous stretch of land with all of these old buildings that are spaced out. It was 1700s. I think I deleted the guy's name. I didn't figure I'd have the time to get into like the deep history of it.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to tell you about all the things that happened. It was such a crazy episode. But I mean, it was around plantation times, so you can imagine they were farming cotton out there. They had slave quarters, all of that sort of shit. So it's a huge area. So when they like start off going through the plantation, they're given like a tour. This guy that's given them the tour was actually an archaeologist, and he dug up some like voodoo artifacts in one of the houses that they named Aunt Agnes's quarters. And they have them on display there. They're, like ritualistic types of things that she buried. But she was supposed to be this like conjurer. And, everyone that was there, they were practicing voodoo. They thought that she was there to kind of help them out. Like they weren't scared of her. She was like a medicine woman, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So she would make these trinkets and bury them for, making her people better, not for making them worse. And who knows, maybe they did a few things to the slave owners too. I mean, I wouldn't doubt I would have.
It's worth a shot,
It's worth a shot anyways. So they are on the tour and they go into this Aunt Agnes's quarters, like I said, and they're with the guy who actually dug up some of these artifacts. And he's kind of just giving them the history on what they found. So the Ghost Brothers start questioning him, like, do you think specifically that Aunt Agnes's spirit is still here? And like as the archaeologist starts responding, their lights start fucking flickering on and off. Like it's a malfunction, like right away. And they're like, hold on, what is going on? And the archaeologist like blurted out, oh, that's Aunt Agnes. Like you can tell he's a believer. So where is this guy? Why didn't they ask him, why do you think that? What happened to you while you were digging up her stuff? But they finish the tour of the property with him and get a little bit more history, but nothing else really happens before their investigation. They move on to find out about the gin barn, which is another distance away. They walk over to it. They find out that a young man died in a fire in there. And this was only known because it was just matter of fact, like written in the overseer's ledger.
Oh.
Like the day-to-day things of what's happening. Yeah. And then on this date, dude died in a fire. Okay. The overseer's name was Mr. Miller. He was apparently a big ol' asshole. And apparently Union troops showed up one day and shot and killed him on the property. And now they buried him allegedly somewhere in the front yard of the main house, but it's unmarked. Again, this would be another LiDAR excavation, I think, or maybe that archaeologist is still working on it. You got to get the right, permits to do that sort of thing. And a full-bodied apparition has appeared in the overseer's house. He appeared to be an angry man. He was seen shouting and almost like he was about to start banging on a window. There was no sound coming from him. It was just, just beating on a window kind of. And he appeared in soldier uniform. So I don't think it was the overseer, and I don't know why the soldier would be in there unless he saw the overseer and he was, trying to get the attention of the other soldiers in that room.
Yeah, that's a weird interaction to witness,
It is.
Like if it's a replaying of a moment, like you want to know almost what was happening here. Like, why are you here and why are you mad?
Yeah.
Strange.
It is strange. And a lot of people tend to think that it's actually the overseer in the overseer's house but it doesn't make sense for the apparition that this other man saw because he said no soldier uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So the overseer wouldn't be in soldier uniform, unless he just had some fancy attire that he was wearing around when, he wanted to be all like, I don't know, badass and stuff, I guess.
He took it off somebody.
Yeah, right. Maybe he did. Maybe that's why they came for him. Here we go, just speculating. So, so Daylin and Marcus go to investigate the gin barn first in the evening. I think the evening started at like 6 or 7 o'clock for them. Daylin turns on his night vision camera and starts filming the loft of the barn. And I shit you not, I'm watching this and all of a sudden I see this blip of white mist.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with my eye? Did I see that? What's going on? Because he didn't react like I thought he would. So I'm like, it's my eyes. And then like a couple seconds later, he's like, now hold up. I think I just saw something. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Well, you take that moment in your brain to process before you say it out loud because he's thinking, is something in my eye or was that a glare? So you're going through like each little possibilities in your brain. So it could be like minutes later that you're like, yeah, I think I just saw something.
I think I just saw something.
Because you've like checked off everything that it could possibly be and it didn't make sense.
Yeah, right. And that could have been what happened. But what he actually saw is not what you see in the camera.
Oh.
He said, I really think I just saw a dude up there. Like he saw like the upper torso of a man. And all I saw on the camera was just like a misty white, kind of like a ghost fart. But yeah, he's like, hold up. So they decide to pull out like an EVP device and it's an app on their phone. And it's actually kind of a cool app because it shows you when it's actually recording voices. It's got like this wave feature. So it's really nice. And I'm like, damn, I need that app because, we try it all the time with our different audio recording devices. And then we have to rewind and listen and listen and listen. This thing is fucking telling you when it records a voice. So they're in the barn and they said, is that you? Are you the little kid or the little boy or whatever that burnt up in here? Something like that. And they listen and you don't hear anything, but he sees something on his recorder. So he plays it back and you hear a kid's voice, Wendy.
Oh,
I'm not even playing. You hear a kid's voice and they're like, oh my God. He says, no, I think it sounded like a sneeze. It didn't sound like, it sounded like you're in the barn and like that's what it sounded like to me, but it sounded like a kid sneezing. So they took it as a no. It could be, like we've said before on the podcast, it could just be the way that, it comes across TV. Mm-hmm. Like they're hearing something clear and I hear it some other way. They took it as a no and they were like, okay, well, it's not the kid. And then they move on. I assume that there's more investigation, but they probably cut it, for time. They probably didn't get anything else. So meanwhile, Juwan and Joe, now Joe's actually the man that saw the apparition in the uniform. So he's got him with him to do an investigation. So they go to the overseer's house to try and, hopefully see this sort of thing again. Joe and Juwan, they have Joe's phone and Joe has the same app on it. So I don't know if they did a little, let me show you this sweet feature, or maybe Joe showed it to them. Either way, he had the exact same thing. So he's got his phone out there inside the overseers. Now it's Joe and Juwan. And Joe says something like, how does it make you feel that we're both in here working side by side? And Juwan says, as equals, right? Because Juwan's black and Joe's white. So that should piss off the overseer, right? If the overseer was this slave owner back in the day type of, so that's kind of where they were going with it. So they could see on the phone that something happened and like both of their eyes light up like, oh shit, we did piss him off. So they go to play it back and it's weird. It's not a voice speaking. It's actually, it sounds like lip smacking, like as if someone's like kind of cleaning their mouth out a little bit. Like, I don't know if he was like sucking whatever he had out of his teeth to say something, but they're like, what in the hell is that? Knowing you can see the camera guy is filming them. They're standing perfectly still. And this man that's holding the phone is holding it just like he's holding a pizza, just like you'd be holding a recorder out in the open. You're not touching it because we all know how sensitive those things are. The slightest gurgle from your belly or anything, it picks up a noise. So they were like, well, that's really weird. So Joe goes outside and sits down and he's going to continue the EVP session out there while Juwan stays inside. Like Juwan's going to hope to kind of see something. So Joe walks outside and he kind of instigates the spirit a little bit. He says, if I walk away from you without any answers, then it's on you, bud, And he gets a voice and it says, walk. like the ghost is like puffing up his chest, like, I go. I don't need to tell you shit. Go on, get out of here. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I love when you're threatening ghosts and you're like, yeah, if you don't speak up now, you're not going to get your story out. And they're like, yeah, we don't fucking care. Bye.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this guy clearly, if this is the overseer, he was kind of an ass anyways. He don't give a shit.
I'm not here to entertain you.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of like how they took this EVP. Joe was really excited about it though, because like I think his last big hurrah was seeing that spirit there. So now he got another like thing that was a very clear EVP. You could hear it said walk. So they were pumped. So then going back to Dalen and Marcus, they walk way over to the slave quarters, which, I mean, these guys, they had to have had really good walking shoes on because these guys were like, it was Lord of the Rings time. They were walking forever. But they can't get in the slave quarters. They're all locked down. They've got like bolts on each one of the doors outside. So they're basically just out in the open in this field and on this plantation. Padlocks, that's the word I was looking for. They're all padlocked. So they start an EVP session outside by a really big tree. When they start hearing something that kind of pulls them away from the tree in their EVP session and takes them back to the slave quarters. And what they heard was a knocking. Ooh. And they heard it twice. So they're like in the middle of an EVP session, like, would this be where you would, have come to rest under this big tree? This seems like a nice place. Mm-hmm. They got a knock. And they're like, whoa, what did you hear? And then like right away, another knock. And it's like, we need to go and check that out. So they go on over to the slave quarters. Dalen knocks on the door and he says, my name is Dalen in like Louisiana French, which I thought was a great idea to kind of speak in a language that they, would have been familiar with.
Yes, absolutely.
But of course, he says, oh, I wasn't supposed to give my real name. Why would you give your real name? So he says it again in Louisiana French, but then he says, my name is Marcus instead. And Marcus is like, why'd you give him my name? It's like, well, because I gave him mine. So because they're not getting any more knocks at this point, they start speculating themselves on why they think the slave quarters might be haunted. And they think that it all ties back to Aunt Agnes, like because of all the conjuring and things that she did, like almost as if because she's still there, their spirits are still there. And at that time, as they're discussing her and like her voodoo and all of that, in a separate cabin, they hear more knocking. So completely opposite. They run over there, to see what it is. Again, the doors are all locked down tight and they're like kind of discussing it again. And as they're right at the door, that fucking door knocks right at them.
Wow.
So you know what Dalen did? He walked to the other side of Marcus and put Marcus in front of the door. And he did it really cool, like, too. He didn't just like, you're by the door. He's just like, doot, 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 doot.
He's much smoother than I would have been, is what you're saying.
Totally,
yeah.
Totally. He was really smooth about it. Like, Marcus was just standing the whole time, like, watching him and watching this door. It was great. So eventually they start to move on. They hear more noises. It turns out that it's cows. Again, you're outside in the wilderness. Apparently they have roaming cows out there too.
That's weird.
So obviously they're not at the slaves' quarters like knock, 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 but they were out on the property.
No, and that's the thing about that knocking. So, okay, if there's something trapped inside, it's got to be a rodent. I mean, yeah, even a bird wouldn't get caught in there and survive for very long. Yeah. So it really could only be rodent.
Yeah.
And how are they knocking on anything? I don't know if raccoons could knock because they do have little hands.
They do have cute little hands. Yes. They do. I like that. And that's the first thing I thought of too. I was like, well, I mean, if it's locked up, nobody's really going in there for any reason. It's got to be animals, right? Mm-hmm. But the knocking, it did sound like little hands, so it could have been raccoons.
If they do that kind of thing.
Yeah, right? We'll have to look into that. Knocking raccoons. So at this point, they get scared by the cows. They run over to Aunt Agnes's house, and some of the claims inside her house are shadow figures and whispers. Again, this is where the voodoo artifacts were found. So Dalen again announces himself in Louisiana French as they enter her house, just being respectful. And they set up a REM pod in Aunt Agnes's room on the fireplace. And for a really long time, nothing happens. Like they're asking every question and it's like dead silent. Nothing's going on. And it's funny because Marcus right away is like, oh man, what time is it? And they're like, don't aunties usually go to bed pretty early? It's like, that's got to be why we're not getting any responses. They start joking about how, yeah, she's already got her muumuu on or her hair's all pinned up. He does this whole like charade, like he's got a cigarette. And he's like, Marcus, why are you up so late? So while they're kind of like joking about it, now the REM pod actually lit up. And now they're like, oh, okay, you're here. And they try to start asking her questions again. But like just a few minutes after this started, Daylin got like a bad headache. Like you can see him like kind of holding the side of his head like he had just gotten, I don't know, like just a sharp shooting pain. He even looks over at Marcus like, are you feeling this? You know, what's going on? And Marcus is just looking at him like, what the hell is happening with you? And he's like, dude, I got to go. So Daylin walks outside and he's just like, I don't know what happened. I just got like this sharp shooting pain at the exact, time that the REM pod started up. And he's like, I didn't really feel like it was anything bad. I almost felt like it was just like, hey, I'm right here. And as soon as he says that, now he's just having the discussion with the cameraman and Marcus. He's like, whoa, what's that? There was footsteps behind him. Loud as fucking, I'm not even kidding you. And Marcus is like, man, that's just fog. And he's like, fog don't make noises like that. And then he said that there's more footsteps. And Marcus is like, I heard that. And they turn around and start looking at the house. And it's like this fucking place came alive. There's walking around inside this house and there's nobody fucking even in there. So Daylin, he even walks backwards to look at the roof to see if anyone's like...
Well, yeah, like an animal up there or something. Yeah.
So then they both go in. Now it has 2 front doors. So they both go in a door and they both look around and they didn't see anything. They didn't see anybody. They're just like, there is a lot of movement in here. It's like there's people walking around, but you don't see anything.
Right.
So I thought that was great. And they decide that because Daylin was the one that got poked in the head, that they think Aunt Agnes did that he needed to stay in Aunt Agnes's house all alone while Marcus and Juwan go over to the blacksmith shop.
I'm sure he was not excited about that.
No, not at first. He was kind of like, oh man, why? Why do I got to do that? And they're like, obviously she chose you. You got to do it. He actually gets talked into doing these things a lot easier than like I would be. Like I would, okay, fine, I'll go. But I'd give a lot more resistance, I think. He goes, but easier than I would have expected. Even easier than Aaron, from Ghost Adventures. But
oh, yeah. Yeah, he puts up a big stank about it.
Yeah, he does. But I was going to say, too, I think Aaron's been in more demonic situations.
Well, they lock him in shit, too.
Yeah, they do. They're like, no, just lay down in that, what is it, where they seal up dead bodies?
Yeah.
We won't lock you up. And then they lock him up. And then they're like, we're going to be right here. And then they leave. Yeah, they're really mean to him.
Lost faith in them, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, in Daylin's case, it is out in the open. They can't lock him in. He can leave at any time. So he goes back and then Marcus and Juwan go to the blacksmith shop, which is another place that they checked out, and it's open. They can get into it. The claims at that place are more shadows, whispers, and loud noises. So as soon as those guys get into the blacksmith shop, they find some really wild blacksmith artifacts that are just kind of laying around, and they're totally covered in dust and hay. So it looks like they've been untouched for years. It's chains, it's, like nails and things that would have been used for like restraints,
Ooh.
Which is not a good thing,
No.
And they start talking about that too. They're like, you got to imagine that whoever was working at the blacksmith shop was probably somebody who was making these restraints for like, his people, and probably something that was used on him as well. So this would have left kind of a bad energy, you would assume.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. And then suddenly you hear a noise. It sounds like chains dragging. What is going on? This place is crazy. So they walk over to where they heard the noise, and they have a piece of machinery there that it's called a bellows. I'm not really sure what it does or what it is, but you have to physically move the lever in order for it to make that noise. But they found where the noise came from. Don't know how that lever was pushed, but it was like, and it was the chains noise. So they're like, well, that's it, but who touched it?
Yeah.
So that's really all that happened in the blacksmith shop. In the episode, they go back to Daylin, who's still sitting in Aunt Agnes's room. And this is kind of like nearing the end of the episode. While he's sitting there, he starts to really kind of panic. He's cussing because they left him there all alone and he's not liking it. So then he's like, I'm sorry, Aunt Agnes. I'm sorry for cussing in your house. He's trying to be respectful, but at the same time, he's kind of losing his shit a little bit. And while he's starting to panic, the fucking footsteps start up again. And her cabin, what they said was it's attached to slave quarters too, but she had her own room. And probably because she was this conjurer of whatever, they had so much respect for her.
Yeah.
So the other room, which like I said, the way this house is set up, there's those 2 doors.
Mm-hmm.
So the other room, there were beds where other slaves would have slept. And he's sitting in Aunt Agnes's room and you hear these footsteps in the other room. So he's like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go see this. I don't want to go see this. He gets up and he starts walking over there and he's like, Aunt Agnes, well, you're supposed to protect us. You're supposed to protect me. And he's like, God, please, if you're here, I don't want to die. Please, God. Please, I don't want to die. And he finally sits back down and he starts being silly. I guess the footsteps kind of died down. He did not go into that other room. He said on camera, I feel like it's trying to get me into that other room and I'm not going. I'm going to stay right here. So he sits back down. And like I said, the footsteps must have kind of died down because he's now playing around. He's joking, talking about if I die, my big screen TV can go to this one, whatever. So while he's sitting there kind of getting relaxed, he starts feeling something around him. And he says, it's starting to feel weird in here. I feel like there's someone around me. He's got a camera in both hands. And while he's holding cameras in both hands, his pinky ring comes right the fuck off and flings off into the room. And you hear it, ba-bam, bam, bam. And he's like, oh, man, no, not my ring. No, man, no. How'd that even happen? That's my safety ring. I don't go anywhere without it. It's got a prayer on the inside. It's so special to me. Oh, man, no. And like the cameras are now on the bed. He's like looking he's got his flashlight out. He's looking all over the place for this ring. He's like, oh, man, no. Please let me find this ring. Please let me find this ring. He doesn't ever find it. At the end of the night, he goes outside and he's like, look, I kind of feel like losing my ring, it's not that big of a thing. Really, now the way that I'm looking at it is Aunt Agnes lost a lot. She had a bunch of her things that were underneath the floorboards and they were taken from her. So she probably felt the same way I just felt when I lost my ring. So I'm actually going to leave it there out of respect for her and the things that she lost and hopefully let her take that and be at rest or be at peace with it. And I really liked that he kind of came back around after all the joking and, everything that went on that night because it kind of brought humanity back into the picture a little bit. Mm-hmm. Sure, he couldn't find his ring, so he had to give up at some point, but also just recognizing that the reason why she might still be there or she might be there now is because they dug up her things. And now she's like, wait, where is my shit? Where is my shit? It was right there. Just like how Daylin had his ring just on his finger and then it was just off of his finger and gone. So I really like that. These episodes are funny as all get out. So they're great. You got to go and watch them. But the whole reason why I chose that one was just because of that ending. Like he just really felt like I lost it. It's gone. She can have it. And I hope it, it does her some good, brings her some peace.
I love that. I love that so much. What a great offering to her in the end, because he was having some kind of interaction with her. I'm surprised she didn't knock him upside the head for all that cussing.
I know it.
I guess she understood that he was a little scared. I bet he started cracking jokes just to try to get himself through that and to calm down from it, because that's a great tactic to use to really mellow yourself out so you can withstand what's going on. But yeah, his ring, you would be mad or upset at first and think, oh, I've got to find it. It's got to be right here. But then if you can't find it, then it's gone to a better place. And that's the way to look at it. You come in and you're asking these spirits to interact with you. You should leave an offering afterwards. I know it meant a lot to him, but she's someone that would value things like that.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. She buried all her stuff to probably hide it so that it wouldn't get taken. And now somebody's discovered it and they're probably putting her a little uneasy. She's used to having to hide it.
Right. Earlier in the episode, when they're standing outside of Aunt Agnes's house and all of a sudden they hear all these footsteps, they said that it sounded to them like someone was pacing. And it does kind of make sense because now she is probably pacing. She is probably like, where did all of my stuff go? She's probably like, what the hell? Doing the same thing Daylin was doing, looking for his missing ring. He's pacing. He was looking all over the place for it.
Yeah.
So, I liked that. I liked all of these episodes, but they're so different, each one. And they do bring a lot of comedy to the show. And like you said, it's probably because it keeps them centered or grounded so that they can kind of just continue to do their thing. It's a really good technique. I love it. We get a lot of shit on YouTube for all the fun we have when we're at investigations. People don't understand that sometimes you just have to talk and that's when the spirits interact with you.
Yeah, that is very true. Like how they were asking questions as if they're trying to interview the ghosts. Ghosts don't fucking want that.
No.
People coming in, always bombarding them with questions and stuff like it's an interrogation. But you start being human and having a conversation with them, cracking jokes, jokes and just sharing, your story or whatever so that you can relate with them. And then that usually gives them like something to interact with that is more entertaining than your fucking interrogation.
Yeah, for real.
We have gotten shit in the past with like, you two would just stop talking, but it's actually worked out for us as a thing.
Yeah.
And I know it does suck that sometimes you don't realize they're speaking to you, so you're continuing to talk. Yeah. But us starting conversations with each other and them trying to jump in or get our attention, that's worked in the past.
It has worked. And we've gotten some great stuff. You know, I know we talked until we're blue in the face about the John Eldred house, but it seemed like it worked so well for us there. Just like, oh, these girls, they're fun. Let's just sing around them. Let's just talk around them. Hell, I'll even push her. Knock the camera over. I mean, they were just really willing to communicate with us once we started like having our own conversations.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Well, before picking an episode, I kind of dug in because I've never really looked at it. Like, I knew there were 3 guys. They seemed like they've been friends for a long time. The way they intro their show is that they say that they had paranormal experiences, but they don't go into detail, and I've never looked it up before. So I looked up a little bit on them, just a tiny bit. There isn't a whole lot out there. They seem to be guys that really value like their privacy.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, Ghost Brothers is a TV series that's a paranormal show. Obviously, that's why we're watching it.
Yeah.
It premiered back in April of 2016 on Destination America first. Then season 2 in 2017 was on TLC. And then in 2019, they had they called it a spinoff series. It was Ghost Brothers Haunted Guest House. No, House Guest. Sorry.
House Guest.
Haunted House Guest. And that was on the Travel Channel.
I would love some haunted guest houses, though. I mean, can we just do investigations of those?
That's every time I go somewhere and I'm looking for a haunted hotel. I mean, I'm not going to stay there unless. So, like we said, the show is a blend of like comedy and this like kind of straightforward approach to paranormal investigating.
Yeah.
And the cast is made up of these 3 guys, Daylon, Juwan, and Marcus. They were all fraternity brothers. That's how they met, like in college. And then after a while of being friends, they both started sharing the fact that they had these paranormal experiences or that they were interested in it. And they're like, what? And then they decided to start exploring it together.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, to me, it kind of mirrors how we kind of came to be, too. It was like, what, you like ghosts too, girl? Let's go to the graveyard.
Because I imagine as fraternity brothers, they were just chilling, you know, we're cool guys, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just happened to come up and they're like, what, you into that weird stuff too? Me too. It had to have been a lot like us. We were friends forever before we figured that out. So in each episode, or at least the episode I watched, it seems like they say their main goal is to confirm that a location is in fact haunted. And then they want to find out who's haunting the location. Dalen is like the history nerd, and he's kind of the leader of the group. He had his first paranormal encounter when he was a young child after attending a funeral of a man that lost his life to gun violence.
Whoa.
And that night, Dalen woke up to that same man standing over his bed.
No kidding.
Yeah. That is fucking freaky. He was only like 7 years old or something when this happened.
Damn.
Then Jawan is said to be like the one that really likes helping people. You know, the locations that they investigate, the owners of the location or the tour guides or whatever. He wants to help them better understand of what's going on. He was an Eagle Scout, so I guess it's just kind of in his nature to be helpful.
Oh my God. That's so funny because when you watch these shows, you can see that in him, that's just his nature.
He scaled a wall once. So, that's when I found out he was an Eagle Scout. I talked about them before. It was in South Carolina, that jail. Wasn't it a jail? Yeah, it was a jail. And he was like, yeah, I'll climb up this wall. I was like, this guy is adventurous.
Yeah.
So he apparently just got interested in the paranormal around the age of 12. And so he started visiting graveyards.
Wow.
He's just like you.
Yeah, right? He is just like me because he also hates spiders and he always runs into spider webs. So
there are soulmates there.
I connect with him.
So then there's Marcus, who they say is the most spiritual member of the group.
Oh,
and he's actually the only one that's married and has kids too. So the spirits that are like of spouses or like children seem to gravitate towards him. That's what they say.
Yeah, his wife's name is Christina. And in the episode that I just told you about, when they learned how to speak Louisiana French, Marcus is so fucking hilarious. He's like, oh, I want to learn how to say some things to my wife. Her name is Christina. How do I say her name in French? They're like, Christina?
In the episode that I watched, she called him. Like, I guess he forgot to turn off his phone or something like that. And he has to pick up. It's his wife. I mean, she would give him hell if he didn't. So he's explaining what's going on in the investigation. And she's like, oh, no, don't you dare bring any of that shit home with you. She was funny. But he talks about her all the time. So it was kind of cute to have her call in. So these three guys, they're all businessmen. One owns a barbershop, the other two are in fashion. So with that background and this interest in the paranormal, and as they're watching stuff on TV, they realize that the paranormal community on TV is very Caucasian dominant.
Yeah.
So they quickly saw an opportunity to bring their own level of spice to this subject and get on the small screen. And I'm so glad that they did, because like we just said, they are hilarious. And I really enjoy their style of investigating too. Yeah. They will go to all kinds of lengths to bring in trigger items and try every little thing that they can to stir up activity.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they weren't groomed to be TV people, so they're way more relatable. Like, even the equipment that they use when they're using apps and stuff, I'm like, hell yeah, what's the name of that app? Come on, share. Love this idea.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some good stuff, but like in one episode, they were using a tablet with that little thermal camera thing that you have. And we've seen that on other shows too, but yeah, they don't use super fancy equipment, and they go between using equipment and using just like household items, like you talked about with the flame, or they'll use flashlights, or in one episode I watched, because I watched a couple too to try to decide which one I want to talk about, they had made their own spirit board just with paper and a bottle, you know?
Oh, cool.
And in that kind of stuff, you know, forget like the spirit boxes and things like that. That bottle fucking moves on its own. It's a ghost.
Yeah, no kidding.
They didn't do that, but they were having to spin it, and then they were watching it stop is what they ended up doing. So 50-50 on whether ghost was stopping it on those answers or if it just happened to fall on the same. I've never really played spin the bottle, so I don't know. Maybe the level of force, it always ends up on the same thing.
I could imagine if I played spin the bottle, I'd probably take an eye out, because I would just whip that thing so hard and it would just
sling it across the room.
That's why nobody ever played with me. That's why.
Anyways, the only con to their show, and this is more on their earlier episodes, it sounds like they really held their ground in your episode, but what I saw in the couple that I watched is that they do kind of nope out of situations fairly quickly at like the first sign of paranormal activity. They're like, that's enough. The REM pod went off. I can't take it. Which I have no room to speak on that, because there's definitely times that things have scared the shit out of us. And you know, you just get that feeling that we're done here. You can only take as much as you can take, I guess.
I understand that. Sure.
So like I said, I did watch earlier episodes because I wanted to kind of find like a lesser known location, maybe one you hadn't heard of, to tell you something new. So I don't know, you might have heard of this because it's not too far from where we used to live. But this episode that I watched, it was on the Allen House in Monticello, Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, that's so funny, because it started up after one of these episodes. I'm like, I've already seen like 10 episodes.
I can't take another one.
I can't.
But you've never heard of it like before then, right?
I did, actually. So I know the story. I think the owner was a principal or something. Did they say that? The owner of the house?
Or I've zoned that out.
I don't think it was on that episode, because like I said, it started at the beginning of the episode. So I saw them interviewing them. I was like, oh, I know the story, because it was like My Haunted House episode.
Oh, yeah. It has been on multiple TV shows. The new owners, or the current owners, have kind of reached out to everybody, which, you know, is always kind of leaves people like us being like, why are they starved for attention?
I know, but it's such a badass story.
Oh, it's in a beautiful house, too.
Yeah, too.
So just real quick, it was built in 1906. It's this Queen Anne Victorian home. It was originally built by Joe Lee Allen.
Oh, that's a dude? Joe Lee? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think, yes. So Allen, along with his wife and 3 daughters, lived there until his death in 1917. And then in 1948, his daughter Liddell Allen poisoned herself after consuming mercury cyanide at a holiday party.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like a really bad way to go.
Yes. Who chose this? And how do you get your hands on this shit so easily?
I don't know why.
That's some Lizzie Borden shit there.
It is some Lizzie Borden shit.
She was always shopping around for poisons. She tried to do that without making a mess, guys. The pharmacist made it difficult for her.
Pharmacist's fault.
Yeah.
I like, take that.
Could have been less gruesome, at least. Anyways, after Liddell killed herself, her mom locked up that bedroom for 40 years.
Oh my God.
Which, at the time of her death, nobody really understood why she took her own life. Until years and years and years later, I'm pretty sure just the current owners discovered old love letters in like the floor of the attic that was between Liddell and a married man who was like promising to leave his wife by the holidays and then come spend them with Liddell. So here it is, the holidays, and he then sends a letter being like, oops, never mind, change of plan. I'm not going to leave my wife, and yeah, I'm not going to make it to your holiday party either. And I guess that was enough for her. She couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. You know, I just think that's horrible. She was probably getting led on this whole time. Like, he probably had no intentions to leave his wife. He was just playing her.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to come clean because he probably found another side girl.
Or he probably didn't think that, you know, she would take it this bad. He's probably put her off many times. And then this was just the last straw for her.
So sad.
So after all that, Mrs. Allen, she died in 1954. And the home, it was sectioned off into apartments. And it remained a rental property for the Allen family until tenants started seeing strange things and experiencing paranormal activity not long after they were moving in.
Wow.
They saw shadow figures that would appear in photographs, but photographs I could not find online. So where are they, guys?
Right, I know. I love that. There's always these photographs that you can't find.
Mm-hmm. Furniture would get rearranged when nobody was around. It was one of those things where you like leave the room, come back, and it's all lopsided.
Wow, like furniture is upside down and shit?
It moved around.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like sticking to the ceilings or anything. Objects around the house would disappear into thin air because you know how ghosts love to take things and probably give it to somebody else years later. Many have said that they have seen the spirit of a woman just wandering the mansion, which often causes guests to sense someone standing behind them, and then they turn around and of course nobody's there. The current owners have also reported, this is really strange and to me comes out of nowhere, they claim that they have seen doppelgangers.
Whoa, I don't remember that.
So the wife and one of their children have seen their doppelganger.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good, but they're still alive.
Okay.
So after all of this, these current owners, they started letting the paranormal investigators come in. And that's maybe why they contacted all these shows. Maybe it's not for attention. Maybe it's not for money, whatever. I don't know. Maybe that doppelganger was the last straw. And they were like, we need some fucking help.
Yeah, okay. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this isn't working the way it should. We need to fix this.
But again, where does this doppelganger come from? And they reported like other things, like hearing or seeing children, ghosts, laughing. And so where does all this come from? Well, they found out that the Allen family used to host funerals for people. I mean, they had like the biggest, fanciest fucking house in town. Yeah. So they were kind enough to open their doors to allow people to hold their family funerals there.
That makes sense with all the other apparitions and things that are going through that house. Because I was like, oh, we only have this one spirit. Where the hell are these other ones coming from?
Yeah, imagine like some of the Allen family might have passed there and then you have this one suicide. So, but what's causing like all this activity? It's kind of strange. But they purposely brought in these funerals, you know? So, wow. I mean, maybe those spirits are a little confused. Like, I don't remember this place, you know?
But it's fancy, so I guess I'll stay here.
I'll stay here, though. Love the view from this window.
Oh, yeah. Outside Arkansas is beautiful.
Parts of Arkansas are really beautiful.
I know, I'm teasing.
Which I don't know where Monticello is, though. But I hope it's in the Ozarks or by a lake or something nice for them to look at.
Far away from Little Rock, I hope. I should stop bashing.
Yes, you should. I don't know why you're being a Little Rock hater.
Because I'm from Memphis. That's what we do.
Oh, I know. When I first moved out here, I would get, oh, you have an accent. Where are you from? Arkansas? And I'd be like, no. How dare you? I don't know why it offended me so much.
It's kind of the mindset there, and I don't get it either. It's like a high school rivalry, but it's between two states.
Yes. We have no problem with Arkansas, guys, except for we don't want to be from there.
Yeah, that's all.
There's that. So with this news about the funeral, the Ghost Brother guys, for their investigation, remember how I said they will go all out? They got a casket to bring with them and put it up, you know, where they thought these funerals might have been held.
Wow. Did they bring it in like a funeral car or did they put it in the back of their GMC?
They did not show how it was delivered, but I mean, I imagine it has to be kind of delivered in a hearse.
Yeah, right. It should be in a hearse. Oh my God.
But they didn't show that. It was just set up. And then Dalen goes in there with Marcus. This is when Marcus's wife calls, when Dalen's trying to get Marcus to get into the casket to stir up activity. Marcus is like, fuck no. And his wife is like, fuck no. Tell Dalen to get in it. So nobody gets in it, though. They decide to just put a REM pod up, and they ask if Mr. or Mrs. Allen are here, and the REM pod goes off. So then they ask, because there's been reports of the smell of cigar smoke, so they ask, Mr. Allen, would you like a cigar? And it goes off again.
Wow.
So then it just kind of cuts away from this scene. So I guess no other activity happened or something, and they move on to something else.
I would like to find out where you can go to rent a hearse. I mean,
Imagine
coffin.
You just go to a funeral home and you'd be like, hey, man, I need this for a paranormal investigation.
Can I just borrow it for a night?
And
What's
they're
the
like,
fee?
whatever, man, as long as you're paying us.
They pull out like a little rental agreement like at U-Haul.
Yeah. That has to be a weird interaction, going into the funeral home, asking them and telling them what you need it for.
Yeah. Can someone please go and interview a funeral home and see if that's how it works?
Yeah.
Let us know.
And how much it costs also.
Right. We need to know.
Just curious. So later they go up in the attic, and this is just Dalen and Juwan, and they are reading off the love letters. They have them like sent to them by the owner, so it's on like a tablet. And they're reading the love letters, which in one of them, the married guy had said, I found this picture of myself and I'm sending it to you. Can you send one back to me? So the guys start joking about, like, do you think it was a D-pic? That's what they called it. Of course, they didn't say the word. And they're like, imagine that this is the way it used to be. Like when you're like, send me nudes, you know? It's like you had to wait weeks for that shit.
Yeah, no kidding. And someone actually had to develop it. So unless he was developing his own D-pic, then he had to have somebody help him out and just be like, don't ask me any questions.
Which, guys, I worked at Walgreens for 10 years and had to go into the photo department many, many times and witness these pictures coming down off the machine. Guys, everybody can see those things. I guess that's why everybody went digital. This is back in the day of 35 millimeters.
Oh my God. Wow, that's hilarious.
So as they're doing that, Dalen's sitting on a sofa that's up in the attic. It's a big attic. And as he's sitting there, he feels something pressed down on the sofa, like sitting next to him. Whoa. He bounces the fuck up off that sofa, crawls into a corner somewhere. Juwan can't see him. It's so dark up there. And he's like, man, I'm out of here. Man, I'm out of here. Juwan can only hear him. And he's like, out of where? Where are you? And he's like, I'm over here. Come to my voice. And he goes, no, where are you? I can't see you. So they, for like 5 minutes, are just trying to get out of this attic together. It's so weird. But he's like, nope, nope, nope. I'm not taking this anymore. And they nope out of the situation and go downstairs and tell Marcus about it.
Man, but what an incredible experience, too, to feel that right next to you, yes, pressing down.
Yeah.
You couldn't see anything in the video, could you?
No, just his reaction to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Jawan's outside with his thermal camera, and he's looking up into the windows because people have claimed that they have seen something, a spirit or this doppelganger or something in the window of where Liddell's room is. Oh. So he's scanning all the windows and everything, and then he sees something blocking that very window. And he's checking it with the other windows and be like, yep, it's supposed to be this shape, supposed to be this shape, not that shape. Why? So he runs in, he goes to that room, there's nothing in front of the window. But the other guys meet up with him and they're like, okay, so Liddell, she's got to be trying to interact with us then because this is her room. Let's all each try to contact her. So they set up like a date is what they're saying. Like I can't remember which one it was. They went all out. They put a table. They had like a glass and some bottle that looked like wine. And they're like, hey, how are you doing? You know, trying to sweet talk her and stuff. None of it worked. She wasn't into them, I guess. So they got no reaction from her or any other spirit during that. So they move on.
Man, I'm so kicking myself for not actually watching this because it sounds like it was such a good episode.
It was a cute episode for sure. And it ends very well. So after that, though, they try baby powder in the hallway because they said that they had seen a woman like pacing the house kind of. So they put baby powder down in this hallway, but that only seems to attract the owner's cats. So,
I guess so.
That's not going to work.
Oh, but I love that they did that. Nobody ever does the baby powder thing anymore.
I know. See, that's what I'm talking about, how they try every little thing. They make the most of their time there.
Yeah, they really do. That's excellent.
So then they're down in the kitchen, and this is where the wife said that she saw her own doppelganger in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. Hopefully it was coming to help.
Yeah, right.
Remember that movie, Multiplicity?
Yeah, right. Oh,
It was
yeah.
the
Michael
best.
Keaton, right?
Michael Keaton. Yeah, I'm Batman. Ooh, that was such a funny movie, guys. Yeah, and there's multiple of him. So maybe this isn't a doppelganger. Maybe it was just something like that, a science experiment, and they were coming to like help. I'll get the soup started if you get the salad going type thing. I don't know.
That's a great, helpful doppelganger. Please. Come to my house.
All right. So they're in the kitchen and they're trying to think of how they can stir up activity. And this is genius. They say, well, let's open the cabinets. They're going to hate this. Open up all the cabinets in the kitchen. And there was a bathroom right off of the kitchen, which is the worst design ever, but you'll find this in a lot of old houses. So they're like, leave the bathroom door open. Nobody would ever want to leave the bathroom door open off of the kitchen and open up all these cabinets. We're going to set a camera up. We're going to walk out, see if anything happens. They are only gone for like what seems like minutes. Of course, that's TV magic there. I don't really know how long, but it didn't look like they had gotten very far, and they hear a noise. So they're like, what the fuck was that? They go back to the kitchen, the bathroom door is shut, and they caught it on camera.
I absolutely love that they're treating ghosts like cats. They're like, they're going to hate having all these doors open. Boop, 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 boop. And the fucking ghost hated it.
Yeah. He was immediately like, you do not leave the kitchen bathroom door open. That's disgusting.
What's wrong with you? That's awesome. Wow.
So, and probably shut that one bathroom door and then hear them react. And it's like, shit, you know? And before it could close all the cabinets, it
was just getting started.
Gets away. Yeah.
We got to try that technique. I love it.
Yes. I was like, why have we never thought about that? There were no cabinets in the Velisca house.
Yeah.
You know, but for next times.
I don't even know if there were many doors other than the one that did open and close.
Well, there was like doors to the oven and the fridge and things like that. We could have left those open and seen if anything happened.
You know what? And do you remember that he told us that sometimes that like ironing would come up off the stove and fall to the floor. And that thing is fucking heavy. That's not something that just the wind could blow it off. And
fuck no. So we left a camera on it all night, but it never moved. But maybe we should have moved some other shit around to provoke them. Yeah. But we didn't think of that. So for next time.
Now we know.
So the episode ended with them saying it is most definitely haunted. And they believe that most of the activity is coming from the Allen family, since it's the only people that seem to really react to the things that they were saying.
Man, I love that. I have seen that story before. Like I said, I'm really hating that I was just like, okay, I've seen too many Ghost Brothers today.
You watched like 4 in a row. I mean, like you gotta call it quits at some point.
I did. I watched actually 5 in a row. I didn't even tell you about this other one, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I don't even remember. They do that in every episode. They stamp the places as being haunted or not. I can't even remember if they did that in the Magnolia Plantation episode because I saw some of the other episodes. They're like stamping, seal of approval, all this sort of thing.
Well, I also think when that much activity happens, I mean, you don't even have to say it. We all saw it. We all heard it. It's fucking haunted. Got it.
Right. Check. Yeah, no, right. It's in your face. I don't need the other seal of approval. You're stamping all of that. But yeah, it was great. This was like a project, actually, that we got to kind of have a little fun with it because it forced me to sit down and watch TV, although I didn't need much forcing because, like I said, I wasn't feeling all that good today anyways. But I don't get to just sit and watch TV anymore. So it was kind of fun to just sit there and go through those shows. So I liked our Ghost Brothers episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed us going over that. If you get a chance, please just sit down and watch some of these episodes. And like I said before, the Rose Haven was another one that I absolutely loved. They didn't get so quickly spooked in that episode. And they were willing to try to do some things, like I had mentioned before, where Juwan is up in the room where the lady in red is said to be, or lady in white. Gosh, I can't remember now. It's been so long since I did that episode.
I almost feel like she's called both.
Right. Okay. Yeah. They kind of go back and forth.
Like her story changes. Yeah.
But the reason why I got all excited when you were talking about your story about them having like the date night with her is because he did that in that episode too. Yeah. He got his shirt off and he was all like prancing around. And I'm like, these guys are great.
Joanne is good looking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's, eye candy on the show as well. So it's a good time. It's fun.
Yeah. And honestly, they have a lot of great episodes. You guys need to get sick or have a rainy day and do a marathon of these guys because they're hilarious.
I agree. It's awesome. So I think that we'll be rolling out some stuff related to this. I don't know, links to shows on our social medias because I don't really know what else to do. Just look at the videos that Wendy puts together of us chatting it up here on the podcast, where you can see these three ghost brothers sitting behind us. Yes, they were on the show. You probably couldn't hear them because they're just so enthralled with what we're saying that they wanted to be quiet for us.
That's so nice of them. They are such gentlemen.
They really are. They really are polite. I love them. So you can find us on YouTube at COTN Paranormal. Check out some of our videos. I mean, there's only like 1 million on there. So just take a day and just go through all of them. And like I said, I'll try to put some stuff out on social media for this episode too. And we're on Instagram under COTN_paranormal, Facebook and Twitter, COTN paranormal. And I just decided to post something on TikTok for the very first time ever. So maybe by the time this episode rolls out, there'll be a couple of things on TikTok. So that's fun. Find us there, visit us there. Oh, we also have a store on Etsy. It's the Spirit Emporium. And I thought I would say something about that too, since Valentine's Day is right around the corner. You can't get one of these guys because I'm sure they got their ladies, but on the Spirit Emporium, you could probably get what your lady really wants, and that's a podcast t-shirt. Or just some spiritual products.
Yeah, there's nice, sexy candles that will commune with the spirits. So your Valentine's becomes a group activity. I don't know. If you're into that kind of thing. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there that we think your chick will dig. If she's anything like us, she'll love it.
Right, for sure. Definitely. So then you want to talk about what we're going to do next week?
Yeah, next week we are going to talk about haunted objects.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's fun.
We'll each pick a haunted object to tell you about. So tune in for next week. And that's it for this week.
That's all I got. Yep, that's it.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.